Today we're going to be preparing for the upcoming character Xilonen. I do also want to thank those that were concerned about me because the last video had a few people reach out. All in all though, I am a lot better, so I think we can just go back to business as usual, which I'm pretty happy about. Let's start with Ascension, and this is what fandom has listed out. They don't do leaks or anything, so this should all be official information. We do have some question marks here. I'm going to assume this is the new boss coming with the new area, so yeah, we can't really prepare for those unfortunately, but there is a lot we can do. My goal is always max level, of course, so let's maybe start with these 168. Maybe there will be some more later, but we can already start preparing a bit by farming these with the handy little go to collect button. I don't think there'll be too much to say, so we're just gonna go straight to a beep montage. Okay, those were actually really pleasant to farm. Took right around 10 minutes for every single plant, and how many do we have now? I think we started with around 15 or something, and now we have 86. They will have spawned again before Xilonen is released, and I think one more run through the world. Actually, that might not be enough. According to the interactive map, there's currently 71, and 86 plus 71 is only 157, so it is possible there will be some in the new area, and if not, I'm sure there's at least one person that's not going for Xilonen, so I can just take a few from their world. Not much else we can do with that for now anyway. We do know, of course, she's a geo character, so let's get these chunks out of the way. One of the lowest grade, 9 of the next highest, so we can just make all the purples, -3 there. We also need 9 of the second highest, so we can just do that. Unfortunately, that only nets us 5 of these. Thankfully, with a little bit of a synthesis here, we can just make another gold. So we're good on the chunks here, the gemstones. And besides the boss materials, which is currently unknown, we can really only prepare these whistles. All of this should be a little bit easier to see with the new crafting update here. It'll basically show you what the characters need, but for now we do still just kind of have to do math. And since we need these both for Ascension and talents, we have to keep that in mind. Since I do want to try her as both a DPS and a support, we're going to keep 18 of the lowest grade just for talents, and we'll need another 18 for Ascension. The month did recently reset, which means we can grab all the whistles. So let's grab those 90 and another 70 greens. To keep 36 of the lowest grade, we need to go back 12 here, which would be 77 if my math is right. Hopefully we get a few bonuses from sucrose here. Indeed, we do keep 36, which is what we need. Okay, then we need to keep 96 greens for all talents to 6 plus Ascension cost, which means we need to go back 32 here, and that should leave us with at least 96 greens. 97. One bonus on 28. Come on, Sucrose. Stop running the monopoly. Get us someone else in here. We do need 36 for Ascension, only leaving us 11 for talents, which means we could get like 1 skill to 8. Maybe she does have the most important skill, which we can get to 8, or we'll just farm a bit from here to there. Overall though, we're looking okay on whistles. You know, decent talent level and level 90. So don't need to worry about them too much. But yeah, besides the 420k Mora, which thankfully we barely have, we can't really do anything else for Ascension reasons. We should be able to get her up to level 90 when she comes out pretty quickly. As for the rest of talents, we will need teachings of kindling, which we actually do have 10 purples. That's kind of crazy, but only 5 silvers and 2 browns. They're not open today, so I'm going to insert some future content, I guess. Future content here, they are now open. So let's do some runs. My goal is always 8 for the important talents. In her case, since I do want to try and main DPS with her, maybe it's going to be 888, which means we do have a lot of farming to do. I don't like this stage a lot, to be honest, but I've really been enjoying the Kanich team. I just really like Kanich as a whole. He might be maybe one of my favorite DPSs now. No purples there, unfortunately. Ooh, that was fast. 15 seconds for those guys. They can be really annoying because they're always going underground, but the Kanich rotation can be incredibly fast. Still no purples. Still no purples. Come on, give us 1 purple. Ta-da! Still nothing. And ooh, we finally did get a purple. Okay, cool. Since we started with so few, I'm just gonna grab 5 more condensed and then run those first before we start crafting. No purple. Nope. Ooh, double shot. Ah. The AoE actually did get both of them, but it wasn't enough. Yes, nope, and nope. Okay, but let's see how close we are. Definitely didn't have the most insane runs there. I would say my goal right now is like 8 for the normal, 8 for the skill, and 6 for the burst. I don't feel like the burst is going to be that important to raise, but it will heal more, so that's something. So we'll need 3 greens and 21 blues per level 6. So let's start with that. Let's get Eula in there, just -3 there. Eula bonus. We got 1 bonus on 12. Okay, so we're good on the green books. We already need more blue books. We only have 60 out of 63. That's not even counting talents to 8 right now, so let's just make 5 more condensed. Or maybe 4 more will be enough, we'll see. No, yes, no, yes. Okay, maybe that's enough, hold on. Let's craft those 6 extra silvers we can have, and we need to keep 63 books, which means we can only craft 6 purples, if my math is right here. And how many purples do we have now? 20. Oh, I think that's exactly enough. We need 4 and 6 for talent 7 and 8, so my initial 8-8-6 plan would work out already. I might go for some more runs just to get 8-8-8, or maybe even like bump the skill up a bit more, but I think for now this is fine. We also do got to make sure we have enough of these, which is what she'll need. We have 27. Definitely don't need to worry about that. For 888, we only need 6. We could actually triple crown her pretty easily with the amount of this stuff we have. Now that talents and Ascension are covered, I'm going to do something I don't usually do for preparing for videos, and that's to try and prepare their artifact set. I usually don't do this because I don't know what they need, but in her case, I think it's going to be pretty obvious. She's going to want Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City. That is, unless you choose to DPS with her, but I think her most interesting case is as a support, so we are going to try and make a decent Cinder City set. I haven't farmed this place like a stupid amount yet. I'm hoping a lot of these aren't, some of them are purples. Also on Genshin Wiki, it does seem like some of her like multipliers and stuff have been released, and it looks like she does scale with def, which is kind of what I thought because she's a Geo character and most Geo characters do scale with def in some sort of way. As a support, I can't imagine her stat requirements are going to be that insane. It seems like no matter what, she's going to want def though, because even as a support, her burst healing is scaled with def as well. Ooh, it seems like her res decreases for 15 seconds. Okay, that's quite a long time actually. Also seems like because her Night Soul points are like continuously depleted, she can take advantage of the Obsidian Codex set if you plan to use her as a DPS. Oh, and that's interesting. It seems like the elemental res decrease goes up with talent levels. 36% at level 10. She might be one of the rare cases where getting her up to C3 or C5 is actually like a good stopping point. Now we're just getting into like Xilonen theory crafting, which it wasn't really my plan, but having all this information to go off of is kind of interesting. So 1000%, her skill is going to be the most important. So I definitely want to get that up to at least 8 when she comes out, maybe even 9 or 10, which means we'll probably need to farm some more of those whistles. Seems like her burst gets buffed in a Geo team, get some like follow-up damage. Even as a support, it seems like she might be able to do decent damage if she's built well enough. The team comp requirements for DPS or support Xilonen are a little bit different than I thought. With her passive here, if she has fewer than 2 source samples that have had their elemental types changed because they're Geo by default, then her own normal / plunging attacks will have 30% increased damage, which means you don't actually need mono Geo for DPS Xilonen, you just need 3 or 4. And you can still have 2 Geos in your team, like if you wanted to run Zhongli or something, and still have her be the support variation. The unfortunate thing with her healing is that it says it'll heal nearby active characters, and this word active typically means only the one out on field. So it won't be a team-wide heal, which is a bit unfortunate for like Farina teams. I think you can maybe still get away with it, but it's going to be a lot harder. At level 9, it's 176% of her def plus 1000, so I think they can be pretty good heals. Like probably, I would think about 5-6k with the decently built Xilonen. The question is how often that happens, because here it just says at intervals, like every second, every 2 seconds, every half second. That makes obviously a massive difference. We're just gonna have to wait and see for that. Anyway, we'll just be using Kachina here as our holder of Xilonen's artifacts. And for my first showcase, you know, C0, no signature weapon, none of that. I will try and show her both as a DPS and as a support unit. I imagine with more investment, she can be a bit of a hybrid, like, you know, decent damage and support. If I were to hypothesize with the little information I currently have, I would say it's better to purely focus on either support or DPS. And because Cinder City is the support set, this will be what I think is going to be good for her, which is like an ER Sands and then double def on Goblet and Circlet. Not trying to make her deal decent sub DPS damage, even though she might be capable of it, even at low or no investment. That's just my current thought. Maybe triple def is still better, but being able to heal, I think is a cool thing for a support / buffer. So I would want to make sure she can do her burst as often as possible. We only have 1 ER Sand, so it might be our off piece. Let's check if we have any decent def goblets here. Some offensive stats wouldn't be bad. Like we do have crit rate here, which is okay. We got a crit damage there. They are all pretty bad, so I guess we're just going to go with the crit rate one. It does have a pretty high 3.5 there. We also do have 4 def circlets. Unfortunately, they too are all pretty bad. Got one with a bit of crit rate there, so we'll take it. Not a single one with energy recharge or anything, and I think those are going to be like her 2 most important stats, ER and def. Although, because she only needs 60 energy and it's on a 15-second cooldown, I imagine you don't need that much energy recharge, but still, purely for support reasons, I wouldn't know what else she needs. For Plume and Flower, we're mainly just looking for def percent. If we can get some, you know, crit rate or crit damage in there, that would be good. Like this one has crit rate and def, none with flat def and def percent. So I think we are just going to go for this one here with the crit rate and def. Ooh, and here we actually have a pretty nice looking flower with def, crit rate, energy recharge, and HP. HP, I guess, is a little mid, but it starts with 4 subs, and 3 of the 4 are all right. Crit rate especially won't be useless if she can hold on to a Favonius weapon. That might be a decent option for her. So we do have a 5-piece set. If anything, I would probably swap out the sands for an off piece. It's one thing I'm not super sure about right now, and I'm not going to raise any of them right now because we will be farming this in between now and when she's actually released. So it could be we get something better. But if we don't, I think this set is going to be fine for her because at the end of the day, she doesn't really need many specialty stats to do what she does. They don't need to be that good unless you're trying to also sub DPS with her, which isn't my priority. As for preparing for her weapon, the Peak Patrol song, I usually don't do that until it's weapon day. We'll need these mirrors, which actually are open today. And yeah, of course, some of the new elite enemy drops. I am honestly a bit surprised to see the second stat type is just straight up def. I guess even with more investment, her main role is to be a support because that's also what her weapon does. It gives elemental damage bonus to the rest of the team. But yeah, I guess that will do it. We are decently prepared, at least in terms of Ascension talents and an okay starting artifact set. We could make sure we have a decent weapon for her, but Cinnabar Spindle is looking pretty good. I mean, just that 69% def there. I know not everyone has it because it's an older event weapon, but there is also Favonius Sword, I guess. We'll get more into the weapon recommendations for the actual raising mode. Until then though, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Dropping a like or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.